What's going on? My name is Zachary Delano Middleton. I am an author, and I recently wrote a book called Running After Delano. And but it's more than that. It's connected to an LLC I started, which is a self-publishing brand called Grace to Cultivate LLC. If you want to check us out, just check it out. Check us out online at gracetocultivate.com, or you can look at all the other videos in our suite. What we do. And so, what I want to do right now is I just want to break down the process of what does it look like to sell something or to write the book, the novel, and then from that novel, connecting the dots between novel writing to sales through a brand. All right, and so I have 21 steps or 21 um, bullet points, principles, however you want to frame it. And how I frame it is it how to write and sell a novel in 21 steps. Um, First one is that you have to believe that it's even possible. I think one of the hard things about writing is a lot of times you encounter a lot of naysayers, and not only naysayers, but just life. There's just so much that comes up in life that makes you just go, I don't think I'm gonna do it, or I'm gonna quit, or I'm not gonna actually go as hard as I possibly can in order to get it done. And so it's just one of the things that I've noticed that just learning experience of actually believing that you can do it. If you can put words together, you can write a novel, you can write a book. And so that's encouragement. The next thing I would do is I would encourage you to actually do a business plan. And so the reason for the business plan is you want to structure not just how your first novel will go, or your first piece of intellectual property will go, but what is the common denominator between the first one and preferably the 10th, the 20th, 30th, however many you put out. And so if you can find that common thread in terms of the things that you're actually going to write about, that you're actually going to put out there, it's going to help you in the long run to even start at the beginning and then kind of work from the beginning on out. Consider the business structure. The reason why I say consider it is um, I don't work for uh, a small business center, which I would recommend you check out your local small business center, wherever that may be. But what I would highly encourage you to do is to consider checking in with them and seeing, should I be an LLC? Should I be a sole proprietorship? Should this be tied to a nonprofit? But getting that structure together. And the reason for it is when, and I'll get to it later on, is when you actually put the content out or you actually put it through the self-publishing service. That self-publishing service is going to link to your business number. And so it's in your best interest to start thinking about it on the front end. After that, I would say, I think considering the business structure is to ponder and so believe that's even possible is one, right? The business plan is two. Number three, consider the business structure. Number four is to ponder your storytelling influences. One of the things that's helped me as a writer is like, what were the stories that have captured me that I would say that these are something that when I watched them or engaged them or read them, they lingered, they stay with me for a long period of time. And so I think that is very helpful as you're seeking to develop um, what your style is. And so I would argue that our styles are kind of a mashup or a summary of all the styles that have influenced us over the years. And so when you put it on the line, those become your storytelling influences. For instance, there was recently a Twitter spaces of the different world, and when I think of all the writing that I want to do, like I would say that the different world is probably the best visual of all my writing in terms of my target demographic, what I hope to see in the lives of the next generation watching or engaging or reading or whatever. Um, I don't endorse, of course, the actions of Bill Cosby, but the I think the art that came out of that particular time period was second to none. I think of there was a series by Focus of One Family years ago called uh, Adventures in Odyssey. And I thought that was phenomenal. As a kid, I really gravitated towards the way that they did their storytelling. Let me think of a few others. Encyclopedia Brown, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boys. Even part of one of the reasons I wanted to write my second novel in the first series, called Rashard Freeman Teenage Entrepreneur. I wanted to focus on what does it look like to, well, if you had an Encyclopedia Brown, Nancy Drew, Hardy Boy, but it was from the other side of the track, an African American kid doing it. And so that was interesting. Number four. Number five is to interact with books, podcasts, and resources on how you can write better, right? And so these are called craft books or craft resources, is what they call it in writing. And so one of the three most influential for me have been reaching out to former writing teachers or English teachers. A B books like Stein on Writing by Solstein or Stephen King did one on writing. Those books were really influential because they help you to flesh out what does it look like to be to write a book that will be respected by reviewers. And one of the common threads that I see in all those books, also masterclass.com has a lot of great resources too. One thing that I see is they always tell you to show, not tell. For storytellers, how do you write it in such a way that the audience is engaging it on such a level that they're engaging and listening, and they're able to kind of extrapolate what's important for them. And so you show, not tell. And so that's one thing I've gotten from that. But you have to read your own things and kind of see things that will work for you as a storyteller. Next one is a plot summary. I flesh it out in the blog, and I'll put the blog in the actual comments, and so you can see what that looks like. But it's uh, a kind of breakdown, six or seven structured version of the story. So think of it as the smallest way that you can look at the main movement of your story before you even write the story. And so this can all be done on half a page, and it's going to start with your introduction, and it's going to end with the resolution of the story. And I'll put that more information up on online, and you can go to my blog, which is ZDM Grace to Cultivate, or just go to gracetocultivate.com and click on blog, and it'll take it. Let's see what else. After you've got your plot summary, you're going to do a book outline. Book outline is kind of think of it as a mini book, right? And so if you have 20 chapters, what is each chapter going to be about and how it's going to tie into the plot summary. And so that would be number seven, book outline. Number eight, write your first chapter and repeat until completion. And that sounds really basic, but that's really what it is. Writing is cranking it out. The only cheat code I can give you is I use legal pads, and I found them to be very helpful. Just writing on there, vomiting on a sheet of paper, and then taking that sheet of paper and putting it on the Word document. That's what I found to be helpful. Once your final draft is completed, read it for the first time. Like, just actually go through it, and you're reading it not for um, um, grammar. You're reading it for readability, right? You're reading it for readability. Boom, one time, can I actually read this? Do I actually like this? Is this something that I will be willing to pass to someone else? After that, let your work cool. Um, there's no real standard training of thought of like how long you have to let it cool, whether it be 30 days. Um, I wouldn't go any past 30 days, but a week or two, being able to put the book down. And the thought process is that you're not in the heat of the moment after you finish it. But sometimes if you put the book down in the heat of the moment, you go, oh man, this is excellent. But you kind of need that time to go, it's not that good, whatever. So let the book cool. Stein on Writing engages this a little bit better, and they flesh it out. Return to the book after being the first one to proofread it. So after you have read the book for the first time, um, uh, you're going to be the first one to proofread it. You're going to be the first one to just look at it, break it down, chop it up the whole nine, and it's in your best interest uh, to check out what's the good, bad, and ugly. But I'm not a grammarian. I'm not really great in English, and so what I do is I find people who are a lot better than me in English. My first book, I had about seven grammarians, but in the future, I would just say you need about two or three. I think is a good number. But get your book work proofread by a respected grammarian, or more than one. People who have been really helpful for me that I will still continue to work with. I think of Shauna White and Lori Sibley. If you're interested, you want to try to reach out, try to find other people. Just feel free to email me. My email is zach at Grace to Cultivate, and I can point you in the direction of some good grammarians if you need it. Create a book cover. This actually can be done nowadays through Canva, or through apps that are available online for free or for minimal cost. And so they are actually out there. Some people go through a service called Fiverr, which is really good for all like freelance art, digital art. But I found the first cover I actually did myself, and something you can do. So that's number 13. Number 14, get your books typed, excuse me, the type pages of your books, get it formatted. And so I found it's very helpful to actually outsource that because it's a technical work that it's not just putting a Microsoft Word document up. It's pretty technical these days. And so get your book type pages formatted to the size and specification of your desired print on demand service. And they have some people who can do it really well. And I put that on my blog, one of the websites that I came across that I thought they may do some good work. And I haven't done it yet, but I get the sense that they seem to be pretty professional. And I can give you a better update in a few months when hopefully I finish Rashard Freeman, the entrepreneur, personal. Purchase an ISBN for your book. I found that it's helpful financially to do it in a 10 pack. It's called a 10 pack bundle. If you want to do kind of the best bang for your buck. And one of the reasons that a lot of people don't think about is the fact that an ebook is different than a paperback book, right? These are two different books from the standpoint of your ISBN or for ownership. And even though Amazon Kindle Direct Publishing publishes and prints and distributes, if you own the ISBN, some could argue that you're the Grace Cultivate is the publisher, and so that's why what designated as self-published or a self-published book, that sort of thing. And so I put it in my first book that it still says self-published, but one of the reasons for having an outside company is, a man or woman doesn't know like who Grace to Cultivate is. They think it's an outside group. Sometimes it gives it a certain amount of credibility just to have an outside publisher. So, final book review. This book it contains grammar, structure of the book, everything that is contained within the nature of a book itself. You take that and you assess it. Hey, is this something that I can live with? Essentially, can I live with this book? And that's your final book review. That's 16, 17 is submit your book for a copyright. And so you're going to actually get your book copywritten. And so that copyright on your book is a process in and of itself, but very rewarding for the person who would, how can I put it, who would say, why do I need to get my book copyrighted if I don't care if, someone takes it or that sort of thing, or I'm not trying to, there's some people who feel like they don't mind if someone uses their work. And there's nothing wrong with that. But the reason for a copyright, it's kind of like a chess move. Because if, let's say, for example, if someone isn't nice or nice spirited and they decide to take your work, get it copyrighted, now you can't use your work even though you originally created it, right? And so a copyright, even for those who don't uh, who don't feel like they're afraid that someone will steal their work, understand that it's more of a business move to protect your work, if that makes any sense. Submit your book to the self-publishing company's website. 18, or the print-on-demand service is what they call it. You're going to submit your book to that, and that's kind of one of the last steps that you're actually going to take. And that's going to be assigned to the ISBN. And then create a podcast or podcast. I would recommend that seeks to create value toward your target audience. So, for example, my target audience are young people, and so, or I would say the people who are actually going to buy it are the parents and educators. And so, what I do is I reach out to those parents and educators and say, "Hey, this is what I'm doing. I wanted you to your child can see great examples of people who are doing some wonderful, dynamic, and diverse work. Check us out, sort of thing." 20, connect your art to an industry or service. For me, as I'm a young adult fiction author, there's a natural connection to schools or to youth organizations. But I would encourage you to find whatever that thing is for you. If it's hospital workers, or if it's um, uh, you have to find whatever industry that may be. Who would be the person most likely to read your book, and is there a large scale group of those people? And I would infer that those would be your target audience. And last but not least is getting other people to review your work. You can do it on a personal level. Since I'm going through Amazon, I get people to review it via Amazon, but you can also do it on a larger work or larger scale. One of those is it's a website called Kirkus Reviews. Kirkus Reviews are between I think $300 to $600, something like that. But it's a well-respected source one. And then when you go to libraries and bookstores and things like that, they look to see, hey, has this been reviewed through like a Kirkus? And so I found that to be a helpful source. So just to quickly recap, these are the 21 steps: how to write and sell a novel. First one, believe that it's even possible. Two, write a business plan. Three, consider the business structure. Four, ponder your storytelling influences. Five, interact with books, podcasts, and resources on how to write better. Six, write a plot summary. Seven, write a book outline. Eight, write your first chapter and then repeat it until completion. Nine, once your final draft is completed, read it. 10, let your work cool. 11, return to the book and be the first one to proofread it. 12, get your book proofread by a prospective grammarian or more than one. 13, create a book cover. 14, get your book type pages formatted to the size and specification of your desired print on demand service. 15, purchase an ISBN for your book, preferably a 10-pack bundle. 16, final book review. 17, submit your book for a copyright. 18, submit your book to the self publishing company's website. 19, create a podcast or a podcast that seeks to create value towards your target audience. 20, connect your art to the industry or service. And 21, get others to review your service. If you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Just check out our website. It's Grace to Cultivate. You can do the contact us link, or you can, gracetocultivate.com. You can do the contact us link, or you can email me directly at Zach, Z-A-C-H, at gracetocultivate.com, or you can follow us on any social media, YouTube, Facebook, IG, Pinterest, that under the name at Grace to Cultivate. All right. Appreciate you guys. Take it easy.